To you, ma'am.
I think it's a good time to congratulate and wish the very good people of Bluechip Technology well for putting together such a stellar event at this very important period of our nation's history. My name is Toyosi, Akerele, Ogunsiji, and I work for Rise Networks. Our work is at the intersection of the future of work and the fourth industrial revolution. And I'm absolutely honored to be here before you. I hope that we're going to be able to maximize the next 25 to 30 minutes to have a most brilliant conversation. Action-packed, not just talk, but something that you're able to take away and apply and begin to, by the time you come for this event next year, I want to be able to see more young people pivoting from other sectors and applying artificial intelligence into their various areas of, endeavor and industries. I think that for me, the most exciting thing for me this afternoon is the fact that I'm the only woman on this panel. And that sort of tells you something. The fact that women have come to stay, and I'm not just the only woman, I'm the one who's controlling the conversation. So maybe the women of Nigeria deserve a round of applause for that. Let me respectfully call on a gentleman who's leading the digital revolution in one of the biggest banks out of Africa. His name is Sina Ayegbusi. He's the group head of IT and digital of GT Bank Co. Please give Mr. Sina a round of applause. And right round after him would be Mr. Adewale Salami, Chief Technology Officer of the bank whose logo is the elephant. Do you know who they are? You know which bank it is? Mr. Adewale, why are you not clapping for First Bank? Kilon Shale. Professor Solomon Akinola, Professor of Computer Science at the University of Ibadan. I think it was brilliant to really balance the panel because this is a panel that really should deep dive on the conversation around industry readiness and skills that are taught, from the academic side. Dr. Usman Abdullahi is the Director of Information Technology Infrastructure from NITDA. And NITDA is the National Information Technology Development Agency, which is the apex technology regulation agency in our country. Closely with him is my uncle, my mentor, my egbon, the man who likes to intimidate me with his height, Dr. Olubayo Adekanmbi. Please welcome Dr. Bayo. And then, of course, last but not the least, Toyosi, Akerele, Ogunsiji. Clap for me too. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Take a deep breath. Are you ready? We hope that this will be the best panel this afternoon. These young people are looking to us for not just talk, because talk doesn't cook rice, because you need a certain level of temperature to be able to change things. These young people are looking for hope. They are looking for a direction. What we want to do with this panel in 25 minutes is provide them a veritable roadmap and blueprint for the kind of knowledge and skills that the world does require for them as young people to be able to succeed. Now, apart from the young people who are here, the industry practitioners are also looking to upskilling in their careers. And the old people are very worried about robots are going to take our jobs. Artificial intelligence will render us jobless. And we're here to tell them it's not true. We would speak a little bit about the safety measures and mechanisms around the application of artificial intelligence, which is very important because, as we've seen, the President of the United States has already released an executive order. And I had the privilege of being I think our company was the only African company at the Artificial Intelligence Safety Summit recently hosted by the government of the United Kingdom a few weeks ago. My first question will go to Dr. Bayo Adekanmbi. Dr. Bayo, how would you describe the current landscape of data science and its role and application across industries? Let me make it simple. Waiting be this artificial intelligence self. So that if a child is working on the street or someone who's just heard about it for the first time, what does it mean to you? How is it going to change the landscape of work? How is it going to change the framework around the way we approach our industries and our sectors?
Thank you very much. I think I will build on the foundation laid by Abel in the keynote. Is the foundation, is infrastructure upon which just every great thing we want to build as a nation will be built on. The same way English language unified all of us and gave us access to learn chemistry, biology, agriculture, even to learn Yoruba language or to learn Hausa language. The same way is what data science is going to be. It's going to be the foundation on which future opportunity, whether in agriculture, health, farming, or whatever, will be built. Why? Because it automates and organizes intelligence and make patterns to guide us in what we do. So fundamentally, when you are being asked to learn data science or you are being encouraged to explore artificial intelligence, you are being given power to add to your base skill additional competence that allows you to understand things better, because it's all about patterns. And if you understand patterns, patterns are predictable, they are repeatable, and they can be productized.
That's right.
And that is where it creates huge economic power in advancing a nation or advancing an economy.
Dr. Bayo, thank you for setting the tone for this conversation. My next question would be to Mr. Adewale Salami. And Mr. Adewale, I'd like to know, in your opinion and in your experience, working for a bank, what would you say is the combination of non-technical and technical skills required to pursue, slow that thought, to pursue a successful data science career? And I ask this question because perhaps you've seen the video of Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, where he was, qualifying China as a high-income economy. There's a likelihood that you would say, oh, China is anything that is fake is chinko. But in my opinion, there's a reason why Polo Ralph Lauren designs in America and does their product design and development in America and goes to China to produce. There's a reason why your wristwatches, there's a reason why your computers are designed in the United States, but then they're produced in China. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, one of the most valuable companies in the world, said that the reason is because in America you could find, if you wanted tooling engineers, with tooling being the foundational concept for creating anything that is mechanical or electronic, you would be able to fill conference rooms. But if you went to China, you were looking for tooling engineers, you would fill football fields. Mr. Adewale Salami, what do you think is the combination of non-technical and technical skills required for people who want to start data science but cannot code? How do they begin?
Okay, thank you, Toyosi. First of all, data science is actually not for everyone. You must have that conviction that you really want to solve problems, solve the humanity problem. So you must be propelled by that before you can actually think of data science. If you have it in your mind, and as part of your conviction that you really wanted to advance humanity by solving humanity-related problems in any area you are, then data science, you can now think of it. Let me quickly go to the first one, which is actually the technical skills. Technical skills are divided into two. You need to actually solve the foundational skills. Foundational skills. Mathematics. Mathematics. Algebra, those linear algebra, calculus, mathematical analysis. And that's why you see people in numeric sciences, they're actually good data scientists.
That's right.
Next one is, after that, another foundational skill is statistics. Statistical theories, sampling, probability, and econometrics, regression analysis, and all those ones. You need to be able to have that foundational knowledge. And that's why people that have actually had a lot of high content of research methodology, researches, people like pharmacists, because they do a lot of researches, they actually deal with a lot of developing drugs. And you see, in fact, any pharmacist that you see in data science, you really know that they're actually good. People that actually deal with a lot of researches in creating products, whether it is medical or whether it's...
So, Mr. Salami, what are those, apart from these non-technical skills, because I know some people already think you're speaking French, from all those things you said, what are those non-technical skills that some of these people, apart from the mathematics, because the reason why this question is important is you meet software developers, they wear dreadlocks, they wear glasses, they can't greet, they don't respect anybody. Have you met them before? You know them? Not them.
Okay.
What are those non-technical skills, sir?
Give me 1 minute before going to non-technical skills. Other skills that you need as data scientist, you must be able to code. And the primary language is actually Python, very popular, and SQL. You must be able to code. And then you can now go into advanced areas like machine learning, deep learning, and ML ops, machine learning ops, because whatever you build, you must be able to actually put it in the productions. The non-technical skill, which is actually the most important one that is happening, you must be able to have problem-solving skills. Identify problem, be able to ask the necessary questions, and that's why you see people that can actually ask the right questions, they tend to be a better data scientist. Lawyers, I've seen lawyers that are very good data scientists because they know how to be able to ask the right questions, be able to break down complex problems into small ones. You must be able to be collaborative. You really do not actually have this knowledge. Some people do have this knowledge, so you must be able to really work with people so that you can actually codify their knowledge into actionable intelligence, which is actually part of the product you'll be able to build. Domain knowledge is key. You can't sit down with only coding skill and said you want to solve a problem in pharmacy, in healthcare, in banking. No, you need to at least have a little bit of domain knowledge. Elon Musk is one of those guys that you've actually seen. The guy, he actually has to develop his own domain knowledge in rocket business. He actually has to do it in boring. He actually has to do it in automations. So you need to be able to expand yourself in there. You may not be the top expert, but you also need to be able to expand yourself in there.
Right.
The last one is that you need to be able to work with people. You're actually solving people's problems.
Interpersonal
skills. You need to have that empathy. You need to have respect for them to even allow you to solve their problem. Because if they do not allow you to solve their problem, they won't actually open up for you. So that interpersonal skills has to be there. So beyond the coding itself, those soft skills are very quite important.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salami. I thought that was very brilliant, very analytical. So at least you've kick-started some people's careers already. Mr. Sina, GT Bank is one of the banks that pioneered, digital in Nigeria, if you like. ATM cards, ATM machines, wire transfers, and all of those things. I'd like to ask you, what are some of the strategies you've used to attract some of the best talent in a highly competitive environment, especially in this Jakpa and Jakpada? Because some people are going to Jakpada. Whatever happens, at least with the new UK immigration policy now, that you need to be earning up to about $30,000. Some people are Jakpadaing. So, Mr. Shino,
okay.
And are you going to be willing to accept the people that are Jakpadaing when they Jakpada?
Okay, thank you very much. Let's start from the very simplistic answer that everybody expects, which is what we'll do. The strategy to attract people, we go to social media, LinkedIn, we go to job fairs within and outside Nigeria. We go to universities and pick the best people graduating from there, especially in an organization like mine, where we like to grow organically. For GTCO, you probably have 80%, 85% of people grow, from the very beginning. So picking the right people from the very beginning from university is very, very key for us. In terms of getting, and I want to follow up on what you said. So if Tim Cook said that America will only produce people in a,
tooling engineers in a conference room.
In a conference room,
That's
then
right.
you can imagine where Nigeria will get people from. When we are talking about people, we are not talking about just people on the road. We are talking about skilled talent. So we have that in a very short, supply in Nigeria. So we have to be very strategic in how we source and how we get people. So we get the same way that everybody get. But the challenge is they are in very short supply. So I have to add something special that will make the few people to want to work with me. Because as I'm going to university, other people are going to university. As I'm putting on LinkedIn, everybody puts in on LinkedIn. And that takes me to what I think people hardly talk about when they're attracting staff, and it's about the brand. You know, everybody wants to associate with success, especially when that thing is in short supply. Okay, so, and that is why some things that an organization does that it doesn't think it counts in terms of attracting customers as well as attracting staff is very, very important. What is the image out there? What kind of programs do you have? How often are your systems available?
Right.
How quickly did you recover? People outside wants to come and say, okay, I work in this place because of the brand equity that is out there. So I will tell you that my number one strategy is about the brand that we project, and it comes from the product and services we try to do, just so that the short supply of people, when they have to make a choice, they will gladly make that choice with me and to come to work with me.
Fantastic. I'll come right back to you, Mr. Sina. Professor Solomon Akinola.
You're welcome.
So you're a teacher, baseline. I mean, you're a professor, but you're a teacher.
To the core.
To the core. Now, I'd like to ask you, what do you think are some of the dynamic changes and the evolving innovations that are ongoing in the data science space, you know, that should guide us on how to frame data science education in Nigeria? I ask specifically in Nigeria because, you know, there's a lot of these online courses, Coursera, Udemy, Udacity. How many of you have paid for courses that you didn't finish? Raise your 2 hands and your 2 legs. Exactly. So what you see now is there's a surge of a lot of companies rising in Nigeria. Schools are being set up because people want to be able to physically interact with their teachers, ask questions. You know, there's no way you can take the human intelligence out of teaching. Am I correct? So, Professor Akinola, please tell us, what are these evolving changes? And how do you think that we can respond to them in a way that makes Nigeria's data science education globally competitive anywhere in the world?
Thank you very much. Well, we know that data science is now the order of the day. And as my guy here just mentioned, that data science now, we cannot actually pack it aside. It's now the one that is reigning now. Now, the ongoing evolution of data science, especially in Nigeria, we have NUC now, National University Commission, guiding the curriculum for universities and other, universities in Nigeria. Now, they have thought it wise to include data science as one of the major, discipline now in computing. They have demystified computer science, and they have actually segregated into different disciplines now. We have cybersecurity, we have software engineering, computer science. Now, data science is one of the core courses now. And it's a department on its own now. And most of the universities are waking up to flow that particular department too, along with what they have before. Now, everybody is trying to come up the line of data science. We have some organizations in Nigeria too, who are also putting up courses that will suit our environment here. NITDA is also one of them, trying to put data science into perspective in Nigeria. We have many other ones. In Ibadan, where I come from, we normally have a course, a kind of program called AI Saturdays. So, anchored by one of our staff in UI. And it has actually attracted a large number of people, not only students, people from diverse backgrounds. So they are coming on Saturdays to come and learn data science. So it's actually evolving. And the people are embracing it. I, as a teacher, I love it. It's a vehicle that is driving everybody now. Driving the nation, driving everywhere, every aspect of the nation. So,
I mean, that's pretty encouraging, Professor Akinola, because I mean, I personally feel that we cannot face today's challenges with yesterday's knowledge.
Yeah.
So what you have is a country where, while the world is, where countries are having PhDs in AI, we are doing short courses in AI.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, there's no way we're going to be the giant of Africa if we're not giving the young people the education that will give them the opportunity to be globally competitive. We now live in a moment in the world where the wealth of nations is calibrated in terms of their human capital. And you can now measure the competitiveness of a nation as directly proportional to the quality of its human capital. Dr. Abdullahi Usman, Sanusi Anagasheka.
Answer.
So you are the regulator, you know, you are the one on the government side. And we've seen a revolution in NITDA in the last, I mean, nobody can deny that NITDA doesn't come across to us as a government agency anymore. We sort of feel that you are now even competing with us in the private sector with the amount of programs you have, the centers you are opening, and the kind of very forward-looking, you know, projects that you are embarking upon.
Thank you.
How do you think that tech innovation hubs contribute to skill development among citizens, particularly in the context of emerging technologies? And I'll take that question forward and say, there was a report that was released a couple of weeks ago, the Northern Nigeria Technology Report, that shows that the North is not attracting as much investment as, you know, other parts of the country. Now, I went to university in the North, and I'm a Yoruba person, and I know the kind of incredible talent that is in technology in the North. From your perspective as a regulator, what role do you think that tech innovation hubs will play? And how are you going to ensure that there's no lopsided system where you have a highly technical and, you know, capable southern part of the country, and then one other part, another region of the country is left behind?
Thank you very much for that. I think it's, and thank you for the, consideration of what NITDA is doing. Tech hubs are key towards empowerment of citizens. And I think, you know, it's the realization of that enabled NITDA to be setting up these hubs on behalf of government. As you know, as has been said, NITDA is not a competitor, of course, to, you know, you people in the private sector. It's a regulator, but it's a regulator that understands what needs to be done. And that's why it's doing what it's doing. And particularly in terms of the role tech hubs play, they play critical roles in ensuring that the emerging technologies, particularly capacity, is developed in emerging technologies. There's no gain in saying, repeating what has been said already. There is going to be, by 2030, a global talent shortage of 85 million, that was identified. And that will result into a loss of revenue of 3.8 trillion. Now, that has been realized, and the realization of that made NITDA to focus on setting up tech hubs. Why? Because, as has been said right in the morning, that Nigeria is blessed. Nigeria is a highly blessed country with highly tech-savvy, talented youth. 65% of our population is youth. And of course, just as you are saying, look at this room. The oldies like me are just few, but majority are tech, and because they are interested in it. So realizing that, NITDA started setting up, these tech hubs across the country. There are, of course, yes, that aspect of saying concentration. There's no doubt that the South is highly concentrated in its tech. But the possibility of all parts of the country being involved is what really NITDA is focusing on. Ensuring that in every geopolitical zone, there is a hub that provides capacity for citizens, particularly in emerging technologies, because that is what is lacking. That is what the world is interested in. So, because tech hubs, they provide adequate curriculum for building that capacity. So, and these curriculum are up to date in the sense that they address those needs of the industry. As opposed to, of course, Prof indicated that, the universities are now picking up. But what is important is that it's no more theory, it's practical application of that knowledge. So that is one. Secondly, tech hubs provide infrastructure that is not obtainable elsewhere. Because you have, for instance, 3D devices and so on and so forth that you cannot have in a normal, and that, individuals cannot afford. So tech hubs provide that. Thirdly, they also provide opportunity for collaboration. Why? Because they bring in, different people from different places. They bring in entrepreneurs, they bring in the knowledge, those that are building the capacity, and they bring, they bring in those that are investment or those interested in investment. So all they come together and also build those capacities. That is what tech hubs do.
Fantastic.
Sure. So bringing without tech hubs, universities, for instance, they don't provide those options. But tech hubs, they do provide. And you can see success stories. For instance, NITDA built in a template, something that is going to serve as a template. It's called National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, NCAR, that does all these things. And not only that, it collaborates, it serves as a platform for collaboration between the public sector, private sector, as well as, academia. So it serves as that. That is a template. The University of Lagos, there is also a hub, that of NITDA, that has, been developed there and is doing exceptionally well. We have another in the University of Ife. These are just hubs that are set up by government. However, there are private sector hubs that are doing very well, very well. And so in Lagos, you can talk of the CC hubs, the Andelas, and so on and so forth. So many hubs are there, and they are doing exceptionally well. And in fact, you may be aware, our minister, Bosun Tijani, is a co-founder of CC Hub, and is the experience that he has learned over the years, building that talent that enabled the 3MTT program.
Now, Dr.
You know
Usman,
all that. Thank you.
I just wanted to respectfully ask if marketing is part of your job description at NITDA.
Well,
Because if you were pitching to me as an investor, at least you already have your Series A funding.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
I will come back to you, Dr. Usman. Let's quickly go to Dr. Bayo. Dr. Bayo, now you're a C-suite leader who took a very passionate interest in artificial intelligence and upskilling young people. And perhaps you're one of the trailblazers in this industry around the continent, not just in Nigeria. As at the moment, the current artificial intelligence, the current market size of AI in the United States is about 1.3 billion, 103 billion. And as at today, stats show that about 77% of companies around the world are exploring artificial intelligence. About 34% of them are implementing AI into their future plans. So they know that it's going to be innovate or die. I'd like to ask you, what are the specific skills that you think that data scientists of the future need to have for them to be able to drive, our country's economy and our continent's economy, and elevate this conversation in a way that puts Africa right at the center of the global artificial intelligence conversation?
Thank you very much. I think I will simplify it into two ways. There's what we call basic data literacy, and that's where a lot of people have gained mastery, which my colleague spoke to. I can code, I understand mathematics, I understand statistics, probability. That is basic literacy. But there's a level called data fluency, which is the ability to apply the fundamentals to solve problems. And that for me is a big leap. That solution consciousness, that ability to find the intersection between coding and agriculture, between coding and medicine, such that we're able to solve, build tangible products that really made a difference in the lives of people. For me, making that leap from just understanding data to doing data. Doing data means I understand the problem, I understand the context. The whole construct of domain knowledge is one of the missing links. Let me give you a simple example. A young student in any university in Nigeria who wants to build a model that optimizes agricultural yield for yam, who does not know that yam, who thinks that yam is plugged. Where is that knowledge? So that's where fluency comes in. That is not just that I understand the algorithm, but I understand the context of how to apply it to build tangible, relatable, and meaningful products that solve the problem of new people.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bayo. I'm just going to give, so we have just a few questions left so we can do well with time. Mr. Adewale Salami, I'd like to ask you, what advice do you have for fostering effective collaboration? At least 3 of you on this panel have talked about teamwork, collaboration. How do you think that data scientists and professionals in other disciplines can effectively collaborate? In 1 minute.
The relationship between data scientists and professionals in the other disciplines, it's actually a mutual benefit relationship. Both are there to actually assist others to be able to. But I think professionals actually tends to gain more. The challenge we do have with the professionals is that the professionals are based, their thinking is based on the way they do the work and getting them to the new ideas, new ways, or new products, or new methods is actually a big problem. But if you're talking about productivity, both are there to enhance productivity. And for all the data scientists here and aspiring data scientists, it is actually your job to actually convince the professional to work with you and work with them in a collaborative manner so as to be able to produce the next product.
Thank you, Mr. Salami. Mr. Sina Ayegbusi, given the dynamic nature of this data science, AI, machine learning, analytics, all of the core emerging technologies, how important do you think continuous learning is? In 1 minute.
Well, in the business and digital world now, people speak about VUCA environment, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguous, problems that we need to solve. So because those problems are volatile, because they are complex, then it then means that, you need to keep abreast of what's going on. I mean, like people say, and I think you did say that, you cannot use yesterday's trick, to solve some of today's problems. So you need to quickly learn. As the problem keeps evolving, knowledge also keeps evolving. And it's only a man that searches, that learns, that reads, that gets to know the new solution that is available for today's problem.
Thank you.
Clearly, you need to continue to learn.
Thank you, Mr. Sina. Professor Akinola, very quickly, how do you think that education providers can work very closely with the industry to address the evolving needs of the workforce? We're seeing too many schools that are focused. They're building universities everywhere, by the way, and those young people that are going to get into those universities, where are the jobs that they're going to come out to? So we need more technical, more result-oriented, more well-thought-out institutions. How do you think that industry, education providers and industry people can collaborate to deliver the best results for an evolving workforce?
Thank you very much. The starting point is a viable, sound curriculum. Curriculum is a starting point. Curriculum. The regulators of education in Nigeria should come up with a good, sound one that is all-encompassing, bringing in industry people. Don't just bring academic experts into a round table and formulate curriculum.
Don't teach Fortran in 2023 when we should be teaching Python.
You can still teach Fortran. Let me tell you, that's a mistake we normally do. Fortran is still relevant in its own area.
It reminds me of the professor.
A
boy told him, I'm learning Python. He said, in Jesus' name, I cover myself.
That is a wrong something.
Because he thought it was a snake.
Fortran is being used in engineering fields up to today. And we have Fortran being evolving. Fortran 2008, 2016 now. It's been object-oriented now. So it's still relevant. It depends on the perspective you take it. Now, we need a sound curriculum, industry, academic collaboration to formulate a good curriculum.
Knowledge exchange.
Yes. And again, the industry too should be able to accommodate our students for industrial work experience. Internship, very much important. Because most of the things we teach in the university, I would say is about 70% theory. 30%, because we don't have much resources in the
That's
university.
right. That's
So
right.
we need this IWS something, industrial training something. So they should be able to embrace our students to do all this.
Excellent, excellent, Professor Akinola.
Thank you.
Excellent. You are a teacher to the core.
Yes.
Last but by no means the least, the Chief Marketing Officer of NITDA has conferred upon you by my good self.
Thank you.
Our final question for the panel. Have you had a good time so far, by the way? Absolutely. How can government policies and regulatory initiatives contribute to bridging the talent gap in emerging tech fields? And what specific measures should be in place to foster collaboration between the public sector, the private sector, and educational institutions? Now, the importance of this, the significance of this question is because we're all working in silos. The private sector we are setting up so many Kiniko Academy. Another one is Kiniko Academy. Odenigbo, Data Science School. Then Amaria Artificial Intelligence School. The teachers don't understand what the industry is doing. The industry itself is not willing to absorb what you're... How do we make sure that we bring that, the gamut of the entire process, coagulates in a way that is of benefit for us to be able to build a national workforce? Now, 70% of Nigeria's population is about 25 years old and below. How do we ensure that we give those people jobs? We will not stop building bigger prisons if we don't begin to build more schools, relevant schools. Dr. Usman.
Thank you so much. I think it's an excellent question, and it's something that everybody, all hands have to be on deck to ensure that we do that. Key thing is, in terms of government, there has to be proper framework that guides the development of, emerging technology knowledge across the citizens. That is one key thing. And that, these regulatory frameworks should not, now what is happening is not, for agencies like ours, NITDA, or the ministry in particular, is not just sitting and coming up with policies. It's co-creation of policies. Every stakeholder is involved in the creation of policies. Right. You may be aware, just as I mentioned earlier on, the 3MTT program is the strategic blueprint of the Honorable Minister. However, it came about as a result of consultation. The industry, the academia, the private, government sat together and identified that really we have to harness our potentials. And the only way we can do that is to ensure that we provide opportunities whereby Nigerians benefit, both locally as well as internationally. And so that's the first thing to do. Ensure that appropriate regulatory frameworks are there. For instance, now, in emerging technology areas, we have the national, AI policy.
That's right.
That is working on, the blockchain policy that is being worked upon, the metaverse policies. All these are policies and coming up with strategies. Those are things that will ensure that we make the best use of that opportunity for the benefit of Nigeria and Nigerians.
Thank you, Dr. Usman. I just wanted to add that in addition to Mr. Salami's point on having, I think it was Professor Akinola who mentioned the private sector should take young people for internships. Yes. I think it's time for young people to also have the opportunity to intern with government agencies like NITDA, get the opportunity to understudy the way policy does work in the public space. For being a fantastic and cooperative audience, give yourselves a round of applause. And for leaving all the important things they could have been doing to come to share brilliant insights with you, please give our panel a round.
Amazing. This was totally insightful and engaging. We will take a group picture now. Thank you all so much. And to